200 million years ago, the Earth was ruled by mega reptiles, the likes of which was never seen before. The first modern-day plant, Archaeopteryx, sprouted extensive root networks and grew up to 30 meters tall, dominating the first global forests. That was 375 million years ago. But before trees, before dinosaurs, before anything with a backbone had ever taken a full breath of air on dry land, an ancient scorpion the size of a coffee table was already crawling across the mud with pincers longer than your hand. Meet Praearcturus Gigas, the largest scorpion that ever lived. But for over 150 years, we had absolutely no idea what kind of fossil we were looking at, until 2026. Let's rewind to 1871. Fossil hunters in England and Wales dig up strange fragments, hard armored plates, and a pair of pincers that look almost lobster-like. Scientists at the time do their best guess. This thing must be some kind of giant crustacean, a woodlouse's terrifying cousin basically. The problem was the fossils were fragments, no tail, no complete body, no sting. Just pieces, enough to say something huge once lived there, but not enough to predict what it actually was. So those exact fossils sat quietly in drawers at the Natural History Museum in London the entire time. Not lost, not buried in some remote dig site, just misunderstood. For 150 years sitting in a collection, waiting for someone to look at them the right way. That someone turned out to be Dr. Richie Howard and a team from the Natural History Museum and the University of Manchester. In June 2026, they published a study in the journal Paleontology that finally cracked the case. The key wasn't some flashy new dig, it was a detail hiding on the underside of the fossil the whole time, a structure called the sternum. On the belly of those old fragments, researchers found a long triangular plate with a groove running straight down the middle of it. That exact structure had already been confirmed on a different, better preserved fossil scorpion called Eramoscorpius, found in Canada. Once the team lined the two up side by side, the resemblance was undeniable. Same structure, same family. Praearcturus Gigas was a scorpion, the largest one ever known to exist. The pincer alone measured 16 centimeters, over 6 inches, which is longer than the entire body of most scorpions alive on Earth today. Using that pincer's proportions and comparing it to related species, the team estimated the whole animal stretched over a meter long, more than 3 feet, a scorpion the size of a small dog. Now, when people think giant prehistoric arthropod, they usually think about the Carboniferous period, which is roughly 350 to 300 million years ago. Giant millipedes like Arthropleura, dragonfly-sized insects buzzing through oxygen-rich air. That's the era we associate with monster bugs. Praearcturus blows that timeline apart. It lived in the early Devonian, at least 55 million years before those famous giants. At a point in Earth's history when life had barely figured out how to survive on land at all, the tallest plants around were a few centimeters high. There were no forests, no large predators roaming the ground. The ancestors of reptiles, mammals, and birds hadn't even left the water yet. Into that nearly empty stage walked, or rather crawled, a scorpion the size of a small dog, with almost nothing on land capable of challenging it. Some think that's exactly why it got so big, not just because of the elevated oxygen levels, which is a classic explanation for giant prehistoric bugs. Instead, it may simply be that nothing was around to stop it. Zero competition, zero predators, just open ground and easy meals. There's one more twist. Some of the fossil fragments show flap-like structures on the abdomen, features that resemble what you would find on a modern lobster, not a modern scorpion. That suggests Praearcturus wasn't fully committed to life on land. It likely moved between water and shore, possibly hunting fish and other prey in ancient streams before hauling itself back out onto the mud. Researchers studying its family tree think scorpions may have come from air-breathing ancestors, meaning creatures that had already made the move onto land. If that's true, Praearcturus may represent something rare, a creature whose ancestors left the ocean only for its own lineage to turn around and go back in. a monster that couldn't decide which world it belonged to. No complete skeleton of Praearcturus Gigas has ever been found. Everything we know is from fragments. A claw here, a plate there, carefully reassembled like a jigsaw puzzle, missing most of its pieces. Some fossils found at a separate site in Somerset even hint that the species might have survived for another 40 million years, though researchers are cautious about confirming that yet, which means the story isn't finished. Somewhere in a museum drawer or still buried in British rock, there could be more of this animal waiting to be found, or simply waiting for someone to look at them the right way, the way Dr. Howard's team did. For 150 years, the largest scorpion that ever lived was sitting in a museum, mislabeled as a lobster's cousin, which raises an uncomfortable question. What else is sitting in a drawer somewhere right now waiting for us to finally understand what it actually is?